the goofiest scene was right after, because this whole time I'm imagining that this alien is kind of like weird, like anatomy and shit like that, like his legs are weird, but like
Right. Yeah.
at the end scene, you're like, dude, that's a dude in a suit.
That's a dude
You're
in
like,
a suit.
you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like, dude, that's a freaking dude, and he's just like doing this.
Yeah. It's just kind of like wobbling, like,
Hey yo,
side eye. Oh,
has,
shit.
like-
Recording. All right. I didn't know we were recording.
yes, hello folks, and welcome to Stormlight Studios. So the title of our podcast is Unqualified Movie Reviews, and it's brought to you by two brothers that love movies but are very unqualified. So
That's
do you want to introduce yourself and where you are currently?
Yeah. So my name's Christian. Currently, I'm in my bedroom inside of Chicago. Beautiful, sunny Chicago, windy Chicago.
Sunny.
Yeah, it's very, very bright. It's very sunny right now.
Yeah.
And we're streaming across the nation, which is awesome.
Awesome. And my name is Adrian Leal. I am currently in Forney, Texas, but I'd rather just say Dallas, Texas, because nobody knows where Forney is. So we are going to review some great movies, but we're going to review them badly. And we have no structure. So it's just going to be us talking about stupid shit.
Yeah, just kind of finding out, which way to work through it, and just kind of talking about all the stuff that pops up throughout.
And I noticed that you're not wearing a Roosevelt shirt. I have to shout out Roosevelt's for providing this awesome shirt. As you can see, what do you think the design is compared to the movie it's going to be about? Alien. That's right. So
yeah,
we're going to be reviewing the movie Alien today. And I want to give a shout out to another podcast out there, the Dapper Degens, who actually are doing an awesome podcast. You need to check them out, and I'll link that in our video. But they actually kind of sparked this idea for me to start a movie review podcast. So Josh Albrecht is the guy that leads it up there, and so he's really cool. So I'll link that up there and check those guys out. Really cool guys. Alien, such an old movie. Let's get right into it. This is 1979, and it spawned tons of movies after that. What did it spawn after that? I don't even remember.
Aliens 3.
Yeah.
Alien. What's that? Alien versus Predator. Yeah.
I got the VHS here.
Alien, the box set. Yeah.
Alien 3.
Romulus, of course. Resurrection.
Yeah.
Prometheus. Man. So you said 79. I thought this was an 80 though. That's surprising.
No, 1979. So that means that they filmed it. I want to say probably. I don't even know when they filmed it. Probably the year
Got to be
before.
77 or 78.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that it was filmed like right after Star Wars came out, maybe. And talking about like Star Wars, a lot of the scenes were kind of reminiscent of that like Star Wars Galaxy.
Yeah.
Like the panning, the stars and stuff like that.
Yeah. And the
so
spaceships and all. Yeah. Yeah. No, it was really cool. I really liked, just the way that they made it seem. It doesn't seem like it's a movie, from the 70s for sure.
No,
it still kind of holds up. It's really, really visually pleasing,
Yeah, the whole set of the ship, like it starts off super, super slow, which I was kind of like impressed by, because we don't really get that anymore, where it's just kind of like it sets you in to like a middle of the scene and you're kind of trying to piece together what's going on. Yeah. But the set design is really top notch, because they're using a lot of like switches and lights. And you just don't see kind of that like craftsmanship in movies anymore. It's kind of all just digital CGI.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was
and
awesome.
I thought it was really interesting too that, they didn't really shy away from showing us the details. You know, you saw like all the button switches and the lights, and you saw like the close-ups and and like the slow pans throughout the spaceship and the corridors. It was just very detailed. Like that's one thing that stood out to me, which I thought was really cool, is the set design. You know, it's just amazing.
So this film was it was shot July 5th to October 21st, 1978. Literally, what is that? 3 months, 4 months?
3 months, yeah.
Of just shooting. Jeez. 14 weeks. They did model and miniatures. It was shot with 2 cameras. So, I mean, that's impressive. Like, to shoot it in 14 weeks and to have something like that was, I mean, that's a lot of work, dude.
No, yeah, I think that kind of speaks to, like, you know, just the level that they're operating at. You know, who is it? What's the director's name? Ridley Scott?
Right? Yep.
He, definitely had, like, you can tell all his ducks in a row whenever they started production, which was,
Had you watched that movie before?
I've seen bits and pieces of it. You know, I think, of course, everyone knows, like, the alien popping out of the chest. Everyone's seen that, I feel like, or, you know. But
you never kind of like sat through the whole thing.
I've never sat through the whole thing
Same
and
here.
watched it all.
Yeah. I would kind of watch like one half of it and then just kind of like doze,
right,
maybe change it or something. But I never sat through the whole thing, and like sitting through it, man, it's suspense, dude. It is like one of those.
Yeah, right.
Like they use that silence so well. Really uses like that silent like backtrack of like you always hear kind of like a tick or a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Or a breathing.
That's exactly, yeah.
And so you don't, I don't know. Have you seen any movies that modern day that use something like that? I'm not sure.
I mean, there's definitely, you know, I think it's really interesting, like the way that they use like a heartbeat in the background that kind of simulates like that suspense. You know, there's some movies that definitely use that, or like the ticking sound. You'll find that in like Interstellar, you know.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And when you go back,
right, yeah. And so I don't know. I thought that was really neat. You don't really notice it too much, you know, because it's just kind of like very there in the background. But man, it really adds to like, you know, the whole, the immersiveness.
Yeah. And so, did it meet your expectations of like, it's an old movie, like I'm ready to see some flubs or like some antiquated technology? What were you thinking when you were rewatching this?
Yeah. No, I came in with low expectations because, you know, movies from like the 70s to 80s, they generally don't hold up well. But I think the pacing was a lot different. You know, it's very slow compared to like movies now where it's just all action. But I think it all holds up really well. Visual effects that they used were amazing. You know, there's this one scene in particular where they were talking to, you know, the head, Ash's head.
Yeah.
You know, and he does like this little twitch where it's like, you know, a little something like that. And I was just like, wow, like that, you know, I thought that was like a, you know, like a fake, you know, bust of him or like a fake head. But no, it was really good. I think it definitely holds up. Definitely still, you know, kind of shocks, you know, first time viewers, I would say.
Yeah. And for those that don't remember, Ash is the android. That they didn't know it at the time, but he is the android robot.
The synth.
That it's basically like trying to carry out just one mission, and that's just bring that alien back to wherever their, you know, corporate headquarters is. And so that was, to me, that was kind of like, oh, I've seen that before in like Interstellar. So I was like, I've seen something like that. You know, I think Interstellar does that, right? Where the directive is the directive and they don't really tell the crew. And so until they find out later, like mid journey or past the point of no return.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, should we get into like the synopsis, kind of the whole, you know?
Yeah, let's do it.
Of that.
So they basically, like, it's a crew that's traveling. I'm guessing, do we know where they're traveling from initially?
I don't think it says. I think
it says it, right?
Yeah, it just says like, you know, they're traveling with their minerals, right?
Okay. And so it starts off really just exploring that ship, and then the focus is like they're in their sleep capsules, and it just kind of opens up. And so I was actually reading through some of the like people that pointed out some things is that Ash is, the guy that is Android. His body doesn't start waking up until a little bit later for some reason. I guess it took more time for him to boot up compared to the humans. And so, but they're all like centralized in one location. And they're woken up because they get that SOS signal from, I guess, what do you think that was from? Like a company or?
Yeah, I think it was like this alien, spaceship, right?
Yeah.
That had crash landed.
Yeah, they didn't know what it was, but they needed to investigate the signal. I think it was contractual. It was a contract obligation that they need to investigate stuff like that, even though some of them didn't want to go. And so, they had to do it. They went and landed on, was it a planet of some sort?
Yeah, they landed on that planet, and 3 of them, went out to go check it out.
Yeah, what was Kane? Was it Kane? I think Dallas went.
Dallas, yeah.
And then the girl, Lambert?
Lambert, right.
Okay, Lambert. So I think, they all went and they investigated it, and remind me, like, Kane is the one that kind of goes through the mist, is that wrong?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you're right. Yeah, he goes through the mist, the laser,
and so the laser, you see the blue mist. Apparently that laser was from the studio next door. They borrowed that laser from the band Who, and they set that on the set. Yeah, so that was a really cool fact. And I gotta say, like, the eggs that they have there are amazing. Like, the set design for them to do that in such a short amount of time and to put those eggs together. Jeez, I was like blown away by that.
Yeah, I thought it was it's really cool. And something that I also thought about was, this whole scene of like all the eggs and they actually, there's a movie like Wreck-It Ralph. They had like a kind of an Easter egg to that scene.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, where Ralph kind of like touches one of the eggs and he starts bumping into all of them, and then they all like wake up, and that's how the whole alien infestation starts. Yeah. And I noticed that. I was like, oh, so this is like where it comes from. I was like, that's really cool,
Yeah.
But yeah, like you're saying, the eggs just look so real. They don't look fake or anything.
Yeah, I'm seeing that right now. The cybug eggs. That's interesting.
Cybugs, yeah.
That's really cool. I didn't know that. And then Kane does what every like horror person is like, don't do it. Just stop.
The rules.
What does he do?
You're not supposed to touch it. Don't fuck with it. Don't, what's the first thing he does is fucking touch it.
He's a dumbass. I'm sorry, but Kane deserved that. I mean, Kane, seriously, he goes up to the egg and it starts like wiggling inside the alien.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, at that point, you gotta tell your guys, like, hey, I think he actually does says we have movement, something like that.
Yeah, he like radios back.
He radios it.
Then continues to like look inside the egg as it's opening up, like, are you kidding?
Yeah, and then he starts looking in, and of course, that's where the face hugger comes out. And the alien just latches onto him, and that scene was awesome. Like, what I like about Ridley's directing is that he doesn't necessarily like show the meat of it, but he leaves it up to imagination almost.
Yeah.
He gives you that intro, like, and then he changes into another scene of like shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Something's happening, and then the other crew members don't know.
Yeah, it's funny because Giselle was recording me. Oh, Giselle's my wife, and I had the door cracked, but I was watching it in here, and she recorded me. I think it was probably that part, and you could just see like my face. I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? As it happened, it was just,
See,
like
I don't say anything. Moment. I don't say anything in the moment because I just kind of have to suspend that. Like, I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, you idiot." Sometimes I do, but most of the time I'm just like, It's what the director wants to show us.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And so that happens, and they transport him back, which I can't imagine transporting him all the way from there back to the ship in that storm.
Oh, I know, right.
And so they transport him back, and then they get stopped, right, by Ripley.
Yeah,
what does she
trying
say
to come back into the ship, and the captain, Dallas, is, he's trying to get inside, but Ripley says, she can't do that. You can't break quarantine, is what she says.
And Ripley's always kind of like, that's that first moment that you see Ripley really taking the rules, like, to what there should be, right? She follows rules, she follows protocol, which is kind of, as the viewer, you're like, thank you. Like, yes, that makes sense. Like, that's what you should do.
Right. You're like,
because so many horror movies and directors break protocol and just be like, no, that would never happen. Or, why would you open the door in a horror movie and run where the enemy is, or, the killer is, blah, blah, blah. But no, she sticks to the protocol, which is good. And then who opens that hatch? I think it's Ash, right?
Yeah, who else but Ash? Like, why would you let him in?
Yeah, that's when I wanted to punch that son of a bitch. Like, I'm like, that guy got on my bad side right in that moment. Well, and Dallas is kind of a stupid ass too, because he's like, Dallas, open the door.
Not the brightest, right?
But he's the captain. Am I?
Yeah, Dallas was like, captain.
Okay. And so I wanted to punch Ash right in the face after that.
Yeah, it was it's just, I even wrote in my notes, I was like, Ash is sus. Like, why would you let him in? This just makes no sense.
And to me, I didn't think about like the android part yet, but as an android, are you kind of like, is the directive to follow protocol, or is it directive to follow the captain, or is it directive ultimately the company directive of like, anything, you can break any protocol as long as you get that organism back to us? You know what I mean? So it kind of makes you ask those questions about, what is he programmed?
Yeah. I think him, personally, his directive was, that companies, it's like, whatever you have to do, bring back that, specimen.
Yeah. And so they bring Kane back, right? And he has that kind of, his shield or his thing is broken, his helmet and stuff. And so they bring him to the medical facility, or
like the med bay.
Yeah, the med bay. And Ripley's just very pissed off. I think they lay him down there, and I don't know who's in that room.
I think it's Ash and Dallas, and they're
Okay. They're kind of like investigating, right?
Poking and prodding, the face hugger.
Yeah.
Trying to get it off. And you can see it, like, as they're trying to like take off the little finger of the face hugger, like this tail just wraps tighter around the neck.
That scene was actually one of my favorite scenes, because the zoom in was so clear, like, and the way that his body was sweating, you could tell like he was stressed, like, you know what I mean? So that scene was actually one of my favorites.
It was good. Yeah, like they didn't shy away from the details. That's why I think it's still relevant today.
And so they cut into the face hugger, and then that acid comes out, which I've never seen before, even now into modern movies, where if you were to damage the enemy, it kind of backfires on you a little bit, or it backfired on them. So that was kind of an awesome detail or twist, to that. Usually you have like a killer and then you kill them, but no, this is like, no, you better be strategic. You better be careful about how you kill the alien.
Yeah, I like that. The alien's blood was like acid, and they're it just melts directly straight through the floor, and then so they go outside and go to the next level to see how far it's melting. I think it makes it like three levels down, which is terrifying, because they thought it was going to melt through like the hole.
So Kane made a dumb mistake. Do you have any other scenes where you're just like face palming, like, oh my god, you idiot, why would you do that?
Yeah, when he hops into the pit with the eggs, Like,
Yeah.
first of all, I would not have gotten
No.
that close.
No. I would
You know,
poke
I
it
would-
with something.
No, you like your mission is to like observe. You're not. Don't fuck with anything. Just leave it there.
Yeah.
Just see what's going on and report back. But no, yeah, that's one of those. That scene, I was just like, slapping my head. Like, are you serious? Like, why would you do this?
Yeah. Do you think that like what can you tell about like the director's style in something like this? With the slow panning shots, I felt kind of like that suspense in the beginning. It was just more setting every scene, because even like the slow panning of the ships that were just floating in space was very slow. Everything was very like, okay, and then it just starts ramping up and ramping up, that suspense ramping up. And then it gets to the point where halfway through, the alien is taking out this crew one by one. That face hugger eventually, comes off Kane, and then it runs away. Like, right? Is that what happens when Ripley's in the med bay? I don't know if Ash is in there, but they're trying to find it while Kane is still kind of sleeping.
They're like looking around for it. I don't know if they're in the room. I think it was whenever they came back from looking at the acid. Yeah. And how terrifying would that be? You just come back in and like, this freaking creature.
You're like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah,
You
like,
can't
where
like
the hell is
word,
he
and they're
going?
looking in crevices and corners. I'm like, no, hell no, dude. I'd be having like a pole or some shit like that, because there ain't no way, dude, you ain't catching me.
Set it on fire. Set everything on fire.
Well, they didn't know,
the room.
again. Yeah, you don't know what fire, and then plus they're in their own ship, like they weren't really using or thinking about fire at that point. But they also didn't have guns, did they? Like, they weren't like carrying around any guns or anything.
Right. Yeah. Not like any,
they're...
like guns that we're thinking of, because I think of it, it's like a commercial ship, it's not like they're not military, they're just there to, mine resources and bring it back for refinement.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that alien kind of escapes, and then we see like, basically it starts evolving from like, it starts growing and shedding. They're trying to find that the alien, but it starts shedding, right? They find skin within the grates, so they kind of know that, hey, maybe it went in the grates, or maybe it's still hiding around. But I don't think as the viewer you really... Oh, no.
Yeah, so
it's in Kane, right?
Yeah. Well, it kind of like, I guess it like plants like, a seed or like an egg or something.
Yeah. But the face hugger part falls from the ceiling. That's right. I had forgotten about that. Okay. The face hugger does fall from the ceiling, and Ripley's kind of the one that's right there that like,
lands on her, and she's like freaking out.
Yeah. And
terrifying.
So, dude, that scene with Kane when they're eating, like, you think everything's fine, which like we know now, like, no, everything's not fine. Like, when you see something like that.
Yeah.
When you see something like that where everybody's sitting around the table and laughing, some shit's gonna go down like soon.
Yeah. And they're all just eating, and the camera like pans to Ash, the synth, and he's just kind of like staring, like, menacingly, like at...
Yeah. But the thing, another fun fact about Ash is that you'll see him. He only drinks milk during the movie. He kind of like handles some food, but you'll see him just drinking milk a lot. And when they bash his head in, it's just milk coming out and shit.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't realize that. Yeah,
that was really a cool fact about that. Another cool fact about the android is that Ash begins with A. In the second movie, they have another android. Bishop begins with B, and then C and D, David, on the subsequent movies. So it's really cool that they're just going A, B, C, D.
Yeah. And so the whole kitchen scene was just like, you're just kind of like side-eyeing Ash the entire time.
Yeah. And he's looking at Kane, right? Like, he's kind of like expecting something. He's the only one
he's
really
waiting for something to happen.
Yeah. And so Kane starts choking, like, around everybody else, and then they start checking on him and like saying, is he okay? and then that's when the blood kind of splatters a little bit, but nothing really comes out yet. And then you get the alien that pops out with the blood, and apparently the blood was not in the script, and so that blood spray, that reaction was real on Lambert, which is really
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. I know.
Man, it's a sick scene, dude.
Yeah, that scene, you're just kind of sitting there like watching because, we've never seen the movie. I was just sitting there like, holy moly, like this thing, pops right out. It's just like kind of looking around. It starts like, looking around. There's that one guy that wants to attack it, and Ash like stops him, and then that little alien just like runs out.
Does he give reason for just like a reason to stop? Because
I don't remember. I don't think he does, but he just for no reason really. He just kind of stops the other guy from like attacking it.
Yeah, which that was another thing that was Ash's fault really, that everything else took place, because they could have probably killed it right there and then, just bashed it, or I don't know, done something, taken the body. But again, that alien did pop out. Did it like just flee the scene?
Yeah, just like skedaddled the fuck out of there.
Skedaddled.
Yeah,
it looked like it was on a scooter, like
it was like
like an RC car. That actually kind of cracked me up. I was like, dude, that's okay. That scene kind of aged badly a little.
Yeah, and it just kind of the way it looked around is like,
Who's the first one that kind of died after that? Is it?
I don't remember.
It was
his
one
name.
of the mechanics, right? Brett, maybe.
Yeah, maybe Brett.
I think it was Brett. Brett was kind of the mechanic. Yeah. And so he kind of was the first one to get like, and that's when we see the alien is like almost full size,
right?
Pretty much, and then you have Lambert and Parker that are looking to get some kind of like canisters or tanks of some coolant, maybe, or something like that.
I don't think it ever says what they're looking for, but they're busy doing something, right?
Yeah. But they're the next ones to encounter the alien, and I think that's when they have a gun, and the alien goes up to Lambert, and you can see the shadow and everything, and Parker's basically saying, "Get out of the way." Was that a gun? I think that he had.
Is it? I think it was a flamethrower. Okay, was that was after the whole Dallas scene, right? In the air shaft, right?
Dallas. How did Dallas die?
The alien got him in the air shaft.
Oh, okay.
That scene was like, in particular, that's the scene where you notice like the heartbeat, and
okay.
So Ash rigged up like the, I don't think it was like a little radar, right? That like beeps. Yeah. And it senses like the air density changes.
Which is that design different than the radar that they use in the next movies? Like, because I know that they have an LED or LCD screen almost like a...
Yeah, I think it's like a very rudimentary, design. But, Dallas goes into like the air shaft looking for the alien. He has a flamethrower, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's looking for the alien.
I don't think he uses it. No, the alien gets him too.
Yeah, that was... Yeah, that whole air shaft scene was like, it's claustrophobic, because like you're in there with him and you don't see anything. And then at the very last minute, I think Lambert says like, it's right next to you, like get out of there. And then you just see him turn, and then you see like the alien just like, like lunge, like lunge at him, and then just cuts to the next scene. Yeah.
Like it's that suspense of like, you don't know the actual
what is it doing with the bodies, Yeah. So I think that scene was probably like one of the scariest moments for me in like the entire movie. That I think that was before. Was that before Lambert died and the other guy? Yeah,
I believe so. Well, let's get down to the last survivor, Ripley, which, when you're kind of watching, she's not really a leader. She's kind of more of like a follower. As obviously she's following Captain's orders, but then ultimately she's following protocol, and she's kind of almost in the background in most scenes. She's kind of like on the radio, like, "Hey, are y'all okay? Like, what's going on?" Something like that. And she's kind of always questioning, like, "Are you sure we should do this?" She's not giving directives. She's not giving that many orders. But I think her main objective is survive.
And you definitely see her as like the strong person with like their morals and their values. They follow the rules and I think they're like second or third in command. I remember seeing the scene of Ripley in the very, very beginning and just thinking like, oh, like she's very like, she's very square. She's we're just one of those people that, follows the rules but
it turns straight up horror. Like I said, that claustrophobic feeling with the camera in front of her and she's just looking around. That the thing that I think that's my favorite scene. I'm gonna be honest, because I love that they're using an actual flamethrower. It looks like it, and the flame is kind of illuminating her face. And so that was amazing. That whole scene right there of just going down the hallway,
just walking through the hallway, and the camera's like, kind of like going backwards, following her. But you see also like, the air, kind of blowing past her in the hallway.
Yeah,
and you see her sweat. You see like, the look in her eyes too, which is like just fear.
Yeah. And one of those things, again, you said the air that's coming through the shafts or the pipes or whatever, she actually lifts her gun so it doesn't put out the flame.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a small detail. But like nowadays, they'll just CGI the flame and they'll just go straight through and the flame will just, they'll CGI the flame. And I'm like, no, it's these small details that actually make that perfect. Like,
I think it's one of the things you lose with like, CGI, these new movies is like, all the practical effects that they use and all like the actual, props on set, that they use. You can't fake something like that. Of course you're going to move the flame, away from like that blast of air. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I think she has, what is the cat's name? Mittens or Jewel or something?
Jonesy, right?
Jonesy, yeah.
Mittens, kitten mittens.
And so she has Jonesy like in this case, and she's just like, fucking throwing him and shit.
She yeeted him or something. She left him to die, didn't she? Like,
she just left him there. Yeah.
I'm like, dude,
because she had set
go through this
bomb.
whole trouble.
Right. She had set like the self-destruct bomb, and she was going to, the what was it? This space capsule, right? That launches her from the whole thing. Yeah. Realizes like the alien's right there, and so she goes back to kind of what was like shut it off, right? But like
she's trying to deactivate the countdown from the shuttle or that shuttle that was going to take her out. And I don't like honestly they had room for 3-4 people. Like
for sure. For
like
sure.
They should have just gone on the shuttle. Like to me,
first
thing when one of them died, I would have been like, all right, we're getting on the shuttle, getting out of here. This is not something we can handle.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That I completely understand.
So there is only one alien, right, in the whole movie?
Yeah, besides the facehugger, there's only one alien, right?
Because like when she's in that shuttle thing, I'm like, how did the alien get all the way there and hiding? And it kind of looked weak for some reason.
Yeah, I think like whenever it started waking up in the shuttle, you mean? Yeah. So what is she? She goes back to turn off the self-destruct, and she can't for some reason. It's like under 5 minutes, whatever. And right. And then when the alien wakes up, it looks like you're saying, it looks kind of like it's asleep almost. I think it was trying to sleep. I don't think it realized that there's anyone else. Maybe it did. I
don't know because it started moving and shit. So, then she puts on the suit, which I guess, okay, it makes sense. Like at first I was like, why are you putting on a suit? It's not going to protect you from the alien. You know what I mean? And so she goes and, did you pick up any details there when she picks up the suit other than?
I wrote in my notes for that whole scene, I wrote, what the fuck was up with those panties? The low rise. It goes straight across, like not even all the way to your waist, like straight across the butt.
The crack was showing. I'm like, the director was doing something there that I'm like, come on.
That's the whole, that's all I wrote in my notes. I was like, what is up with those panties? Like, I don't understand. But so like
it was unnecessary. It was fan service. Almost.
Yeah, right. They gotta give me a little something for sitting through this whole movie, scared. Yeah, so she's pressing all these buttons, and the little alien wakes up, and then she goes, to like change. Yeah. I wasn't sure what she was doing. I thought she was hiding in like a suit. I was like, oh, that's kind of smart.
Yeah, same here. I thought she was gonna hide. Yeah. And then the alien, I guess, was still waking up or something. And then she comes out, and we finally see, her put on the helmet and everything, and then just kind of open that shuttle door so the alien can.
The airlock, right?
Blasted.
It just sucks everything out.
Yeah, which kind of doesn't make sense to me that she wouldn't. Was she behind a barrier, or was she in that same space?
She was strapped in.
Oh, okay. Okay. I missed that.
She was singing her little song. She was strapping in.
That was creepy. That song was creepy.
Yeah, I liked it. It kind of set the tone. She was trying to calm herself and soothe herself. And because me too. I would have been like, you're stuck in this little capsule with this alien, you're not going to make it out of here. But so she has the harpoon gun too, which
that's right. It's like a Batman, I don't know. Did she harpoon it and then it just went like that?
It harpoons it. Yeah. It knocks it out because it's fucking holding on. Yeah. It knocks it out, and then the door closes, but the actual gun that's strapped to the string gets trapped.
Yeah. It gets caught right in the door.
Of course it does.
That was kind of I was like, yeah. No, but what kind of got me, the goofiest scene was right after, because this whole time I'm imagining that this alien is kind of weird, anatomy and shit like that. His legs are weird. But
right, yeah.
At the end scene, you're like, dude, that's a dude in a suit.
That's a dude in a suit. Yeah.
Dude, that's a freaking dude. And he's just doing this.
Yeah, he's just kind of wobbling, fucking shaking and shit. And I was surprised. I didn't really expect that. I kind of figured it would have had some chicken legs. You know how they're backwards and then they go forward, a horse's legs or something.
Like that, like crickets, or I don't know, something weird.
Yeah, but it just ends up being a dude in a suit, which is fine. It's it's the 80s. So.
Do they improve on that design later? Because I don't remember the later movies. I haven't seen them in a long time.
Yeah, I want to say that they do. I want to say that I think that's why we're remembering it, as that because
it's more menacing.
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to remember which movie I actually seen. I think I've seen Alien Romulus. This is that newest one.
So let's talk about Romulus because that's the newest movie. That's going from 79 to 2025. That's a lot of years.
24. Yeah.
Okay, 24. How was it? How was Romulus?
It was good. It was really good.
Really?
I watched it. Yeah, I watched it probably first couple weeks it came out. Yeah. It was really suspenseful sitting in the movie theater. I want to say the director was the washing machine and I was the laundry. It was just kind of taking me on for the ride.
You're a doof.
But there's this one scene in particular, which if you ever watch it, you know what I'm talking about. It's a jump scare, the only one in the movie. And there's
only one jump scare in the movie?
One big one. But definitely.
If I'm paying $20, I'll better see some.
They're scary. The whole movie's suspenseful. The whole movie's you're on the edge of your seat.
Where does that take place, the Romulus?
In space as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But they do a really great job. Kind of replicating the feel of this movie too.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, that's your terrible, unqualified movie review of Alien. what I want to do is actually open up like the comments on, this video and just like take suggestions from people on the next movie we should watch. And you and I watch all kinds of movies, really. So
yeah, definitely. Any movie that, isn't country.
What the hell? What do you have against country movies?
They're
like Western movies
not my cup
or
of tea.
what?
No, there's a difference. Western movies, yeah, but yeah.
I don't know what a country movie would be like.
It's like country music, man.
I like country music, but like whole country movie, I don't know what that would be. Okay. We will be back for episode 2 sometime, maybe next week, this week, later. I don't know. We have yet to form a schedule, but we will be back and discussing the next movie. And thank you for watching. This has been Unqualified Movie Reviews. Like I said, if you have a movie suggestion, please comment below and leave it in the comments, and we will pick one out. Thank you, and goodbye.
Thank you.